Hello, hello. Welcome. It's your contrarian soul guide, Dawn here. And this week on Sovereignty Rising, we're closing out our 7 principles of co creation with one of my favorites. I know, I say it every single time. Principle 7, the spiral, the cycle, the rhythm of life itself. And if you haven't listened to the previous principles, not to worry. You can start right here and go back. They don't need to be listened to in order. What's important is our understanding of the principles, how their dynamics work, how we co-create our life, good, bad, like or dislike, and how awareness of these principles help us shift our perceptions so that we can live in a state of authentic peace. Now listen. This is one that trips people up all the time. We've been taught our entire lives that growth is supposed to be a straight line, that healing is supposed to be like a checklist. And if you just do the work, you'll never need to feel that old grief again. You'll never circle back to anger. You'll never stumble over fear. And it's just not true. And then when it comes back in waves, when the old wound resurfaces, when we feel like we're back at the beginning, we spiral, but in the worst way. We shame ourselves. We feel guilt. We panic. We say, I thought I healed this already. Oh yeah, I've been there. But the truth is, life doesn't move in straight lines. Life spirals. Seasons spiral. Breath spirals. Emotions spiral. Even galaxies spiral. And sovereignty? Sovereignty is remembering that every cycle takes you deeper and not backwards. Welcome to Sovereignty Rising. Ditch the fear, embrace your flame. I'm Dawn Elgin, contrarian soul guide, visionary mystic, and creatrix of practical spiritualism. And this is the space where we strip away the fear, burn the old stories down, and reclaim the power that was never truly lost, just buried. Here, we dive into raw, unfiltered conversations on emotional healing, spiritual awakening, and the art of unlearning everything that keeps you stuck, small, and disconnected from your truth. Together, we rise like phoenixes. Flame first, fear last. Let's rise together. Linear thinking is one of the greatest sources of shame in the healing journey. Because if we believe healing is linear, then the moment we feel grief again, we assume we failed. The moment we get triggered again, we assume we're broken. But linear thinking is a lie. Healing has never been linear. Life has never been linear. Think of the seasons. Winter doesn't come once and then disappear. It returns every year. But it doesn't return as the same winter. It brings new storms, new stillness, new lessons. Think of breath. There's the inhale, the pause, the exhale, the pause, and then the inhale again. If you said, wait, I already did this breath thing the last time, you'd be dead. Time often messes us up. It was one of the hardest parts of the spiritual journey for me to really understand and work to embody. See, there are 2 types of time. There is linear time, which exists in the past and in the future, which is also known as ego time. And then there's clock time, which is a measurement. So linear time or ego time is an illusion. Why? Because only the present moment is real. The past is a memory that was perceived and remembered through the lens of our dramas and our traumas. Our ego is created when we identify with form, whether that is physical form, thought form, or emotional form. This includes our memories, our beliefs. So linear time is created when we identify with our experiences. When we identify with them, we make our experiences a part of us, keeping the past alive in our minds. And this might be normal, but it's not natural. We are meant to have experiences, to witness them, to experience them, and then to let them go. And when we have an experience and don't attach emotions, they have the ability to become wisdom. When we attach our experiences and our emotions that those experiences brought up in us, they become triggers. This is the same whether it's a good experience or a bad experience, we cling to it and carry it with us, creating that proverbial baggage. I remember the past through my beliefs and my wounds. When I looked back at my childhood just 2 years ago, I saw it differently than I see it today. Facts are facts, but my perception changes as I gain information and wisdom. Clock time, on the other hand, is what we use as a measurement. It helps us have meetings and be on time and create order. The clock cycles seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years. Clocks are proof that you're not stuck. They're proof that you're alive. You didn't fail, you evolve. And every lesson returns. You're meeting it with more awareness, more presence, more tools than you had before. Here's your visual. Life is like a mountain. We don't climb straight up the path to the summit. It cycles or circles around the mountain, gaining elevation with each and every ring. So inevitably, as you circle, you will see the same view again. However, it'll be from a different elevation or a different perspective. You will gain more knowledge or wisdom along the path so that when you get to it again, you can choose to look at it from a new point of view. Let's take a moment and go deeper into the wisdom of cycles. See, once we start to really look at them, we can see the beauty of it. All of a sudden, we don't feel a need to grip out of fear of what's going to come next because we know that there's this continuous flow. All of a sudden, it doesn't feel like we're going to have an end to something because when we can see it as the flow, as we see it as the cycle that continues on, there's an allowance, there's a softening that comes in. Just look at our breath. It's one of the things I love teaching on. Often when I'm teaching in yin or meditation, this is a place that we come back to over and over again. And the breath is beautiful. Think of it as the cycle of respiration. And so there's the inhale or the inspire, the receiving of inspiration. And this often correlates with spring, receiving of new ideas. It is the planting of new seeds. And they all flow and they mimic each other. They show the continuity. And then there's the pause at the top of the breath, a kumbhaka, a moment of suspension. And when you focus on this, bring conscious awareness into our breath, you finish the inhale and then there's the pause. And if you're really watching it, it's almost like the inhale continues a bit, like there's this rippling out that happens, where the cells are absorbing the breath. And this is often like summer. And there's a heat to it, a warming up, where things are germinating, they're starting to grow, they're embedding deeper, they're rooting in. And then there's the exhale or the expire. And that is not just the letting go, and just like autumn, where the trees start to release their leaves. This is also the gifting of the breath, the giving back of the breath. It's not always taking, such as the inhale. Here's our opportunity to give back. And so here we release the breath. And within releasing the breath, we're also letting go of what no longer serves us. We're letting go of toxins. We're releasing cortisol. There's a lot of things that are happening with this breath that are vital to our growth, to our health, to our expansion. And then there's the pause at the bottom of the breath. And it's another moment where it's like winter. It's a moment of rest where we get to take an opportunity for gratitude, an opportunity to appreciate the cycle that we've just experienced before we receive the next cycle of breath, the next cycle of life. One of the visuals that I love using on this is how we are working symbiotically with nature. Think about it. A tree's exhale is your inhale. And your exhale is a tree's inhale. And when we think of this continuity, these symbiotic relationships that are happening, we can start to see the wonder and the beauty of the cycles, and even the cycle of birth. There's birth, death, rebirth. We see this in everything. We have emotions. Emotions are released, they are born, and then they rise. They're meant to be experienced, and then they fall. They're meant to be processed out or let go. And then the rebirth when the next emotion comes. We see it with thoughts. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And then there's a pause before the next thought begins. Over and over, we see these cycles. And the more that we soften in, the more that we can let go of this illusion of trying to control things, the more that we can experience the miracles of life that life is trying to show us all of the time. We are in a constant state of co-creation with the universe. The only question is, are we working together or are we fighting? Are we resisting? Are we trying to control an outcome which creates our chaos? The entire universe is built on cycles. But humans, we resist cycles. We want that straight path. We want to get over it once and for all. Or we want to live in perpetual summer. We want to do, and even do in resting. However, this creates burnout. The rhythm of the nervous system is to flow back and forth between our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous system, our being and our doing, a ramping up and a ramping down. And that resistance is where suffering comes in. The invitation is to stop asking, why am I back here again? And instead start asking, what new wisdom is waiting for me this time? Because every cycle is a return, but not to the same place. It's the same pattern, yes, but at a new level of consciousness. You're not being punished. You're being initiated. The spiral dynamics of sovereignty bring freedom. Here's the contrarian truth. Yes, grief will visit you again. Yes, anger will roar again. Yes, fear will whisper again. But each time, you're not the same person that's meeting it. The spiral means grief might return, but now you know how to feel it without drowning, without numbing. Anger might return, but now you know how to channel it without burning your life down. Fear might return, but now you can hold it without letting it run the show. Spiral doesn't mean setback. Spiral means initiation. It's climbing that mountain in a spiral path. From above, it looks like you're circling the same terrain, but your vantage point has changed. Your tools have changed. The air is thinner and the view is wider. Every return is at a higher octave. Think about that. Your frequency has changed. Let's drop some mic lines that you can tattoo onto your soul. Healing isn't a checklist. Growth isn't a ladder. And sovereignty isn't a finish line. You don't arrive. You cycle. You spiral. You expand and you ascend. Your shame about revisiting a lesson is the only thing keeping you stuck. Sovereignty isn't about escaping the spiral. It's about dancing with it. Now, this is a great time for us to take a really brief pause and a word from our sponsor. This episode of Sovereignty Rising is brought to you by Practical Spiritualism. If you're ready for clarity and alignment, check out my Aligned Oracle Guidance 3-pack. These are 3 powerful sessions to help you cut through the noise, reconnect with your truth, and step forward with confidence in any area of your life that you want to work on. And if you're ready to go deeper, there are many ways that we can work together, from energy mastery sessions to private coaching journeys like Sovereign Alignment and Aligned Living. You don't have to figure it out alone. Your path is waiting. Book a clarity call today. Links are in the show notes. Let's spiral higher together. Hello, and welcome back to Sovereignty Rising and the 7th principle of co-creation. All of life is a cycle. Let's bring this into your body with a somatic practice. Go ahead and close your eyes if it's safe to do so. And then begin to take a deep breath. And as you inhale, I want you to imagine the breath is spiraling up your spine and lifting you higher and higher. And as you exhale, imagine the breath is spiraling down into the earth, rooting you deeper. Again, inhale, imagine the breath is spiraling up your spine, lifting you higher. As you exhale, imagine the breath spiraling down into the earth, rooting you deeper, deeper and deeper. And now ask yourself, where am I judging myself for being back here again? What if this isn't a setback, but a new layer of wisdom? Now breathe into the question. Let the spiral teach you. And now anchor this mantra. I am not moving backward. I am spiraling higher. Principle 7 isn't just about cycles. It's about the container where all the other principles dance. Principle 1, creation isn't constant. Every cycle is creation renewing itself. Principle 2, your frequency doesn't lie. Each spiral returns you to your vibration. Principle 3, you're not slowing down. You're carrying too much. The spiral shows you what you're still gripping. And principle 4, you always have a choice. Each loop gives you another chance to choose differently. Principle 5, control is the cage. Surrender is how you flow with the spiral instead of resisting it. Principle 6, radical self-responsibility. Every cycle shows you what's yours to own and what's not. The spiral is where all of this integrates. The spiral is where sovereignty performs. Your mantra for this week is, I am the spiral. Every return brings me deeper. Every cycle brings me wiser. Every breath brings me home. And your journal reflection, what cycle am I revisiting right now? And what new wisdom is waiting for me in this new spiral? Because sovereignty isn't about escaping the spiral. It's about remembering you are the spiral. Not to worry, both the mantra and the journal prompt will be in the show notes. So until we journey together again, I see the light in you, and it is freaking brilliant. And I cannot wait for you to see it too. You are not broken. You are not too much. You're remembering who you've always been. And this journey is just getting started. If today's episode lit something in you, hit follow so you don't miss what's coming. And if you're feeling it, leave a review. It helps with more soul-led women find this space. Want to go deeper? Come find me on YouTube, Facebook, our private Facebook community, The Awakening Circle, Instagram, TikTok, or at our website, practicalspiritualismco.com, for all the ways we can rise together. Not to worry, all those links are in our show notes. Until next time, stay sovereign, stay bold, and keep that fire lit.